Hello. In this video, we're going to look at clipped layers or clipping layers and see what that does for us. It's a really great feature in Photoshop, and you can do really exciting and fun things with it. So we're going to work up to that. There's a couple things we have to do before we get to actually looking at clipped layers. And you can see that I have the file open that I had in my last video with the water bear and some gradient layers here. And the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to unlock this background. So you'll recall from the layer video that you can unlock a background by double clicking where the lock is in the layer. I'm sorry, you can unlock a background layer. If this pops up, just hit cancel. And you can see now it's no longer called the background layer and there's no lock there. And the reason I did that is because I want to separate the water bear. I want to cut the water, or I want to take the background out of this water bear layer. And the background is this red. So here's a fun little tool that I haven't shown you yet, and it's called the Magic Eraser. So if you go to your eraser tool and scroll down to your Magic Eraser tool, this works kind of like the paint bucket tool, except instead of dropping color, it erases. So if I click here on this red, just like the paint bucket tool doesn't spread beyond the black lines, this won't either, and it'll erase. So it just erased all the red rather than dropping a color, which is like what the paint bucket tool would do. And you could click anywhere, so you could click on this blue and it'll delete all the blue. But I don't want that, I actually want the blue. And it has the same settings, so it has tolerance, and again, that goes up to 255 is the maximum, and that sets how much it will delete. And just real quick, we'll look at this setting, which is really important. Oops, I'm going to fill the background in with the same blue as the inside. Okay, and let's go back to the Magic Eraser. So what contiguous is, it means it's touching. Like, that I mentioned that where I click, it looks for that tone and spreads out until it hits something that's darker or lighter than that tone, like this black line. But if I click, and that's contiguous, so it has to be touching. If I click, so let's see what that does. I have contiguous selected, and the black line blocks it from deleting. But if I undo that and unselect contiguous and click here, it'll find all that tone everywhere in the picture and delete it, even though it's inside the black line. So that's what contiguous does. For this image, I want all this selected, except, or I want the inside colored in, but not the mouth. Okay, so I clicked contiguous. All right, the next thing we're going to look at is how to clip a layer. So what we're going to do here is make a new layer, a new blank layer. Again, click on the plus key. If you don't see your layer window, Windows, Layer. Okay. So we now have a blank layer above our water bear. And if I color in this layer, oops, let's get a different color there. So if I draw in this layer, of course, it'll just color over the water bear, and it colors everywhere. So what clipping the layer does is it limits where you can draw, and it's a really nice feature. The way you set a layer to be a clipping layer is you hold down Alt on your keyboard and you put your mouse right in between these two layers. So you can only clip a layer to the layer directly below it. And you can see it makes that little icon right when you get in between. And I'm holding down Alt on my keyboard. So I'm going to hold down Alt and click. And this layer is now clipped to this layer. And let's see what that does for us. So now if I take my brush tool, and I'll make the brush a little bigger, and I start coloring, well, that's interesting. It won't color here, but watch what happens when I bring it over the water bear. It will color where the water bear is. So what clipping the layer does is it says, hey, Photoshop, whatever I put in this layer will only show up where there's already information in this layer. So it'll only show up, you can see on the layer, if you look at the layer, it's actually a big blob, but if you look on the screen, it's only showing up where the water bear in this layer already was. It'll only work if you have parts of the image that are clear. That's the only way Photoshop knows what's there and what's not there. So it doesn't know white, for example. If I filled this in white, if this layer were filled in white, that's still information, it's visual information, and this blob would show up. So if I go to this layer, for example, and go in with my paint bucket tool, and I'm going to spill white around the edges. So now there's visual information everywhere, and you can see the whole blob. So let's undo that. And now it's clear again. I took the white out. And you can only draw where that information is in the layer below. And you can do that with anything. So anything you put in a clipped layer will only show up in what's in layers below. For example, the gradient tool, we could use that. Go back to this layer and I can make a gradient. And it'll only show up, oh, we've still got the mode changed from our last video. So we can do wild things with this water bear in the mode. And you can see what I'm drawing in this layer is only showing up where this layer is already has information. So you can do lots of fun things. You could also go to Google. Let's find an image. Oh, this one looks fun. So I'm going to copy this. I already searched for space in a previous tutorial. And let's make a new layer. Now, notice what's going to happen here. So I want to clip this layer to this layer, but this one's already clipped. That's okay. You can clip more than one layer. So if I hold down Alt and clip this one to this one, it will actually clip down to this one. So they only clip to ones that aren't clipped to others. So this one will clip to this one. Okay, let's see what happens now if I paste in this planet that's blowing up. Let's make that a little bigger. And you can see that the planet that's blowing up is only visible where the water bear, where the water bear already exists in that layer that it's clipped to. By the way, if a planet blew up, it could be very likely that some water bears would survive. It's kind of ironic image to choose there. So you can see the whole image is there, but it's only visible where the water bear is in this layer that it's clipped to. So that's a clipping layer, really useful tool. You can do a lot of engaging images with that. You can do text and clip an image above the text, and the text will have the image inside it. You can, anything that you cut out. So if you go to, for example, the hamster image that we had previously worked on, or any image, if you clip something out, let's find something to clip out here real quick. Monkey, white background will make it easy on ourselves. And it's set to large there, that's good. Let's go with this one. Nice, simple. Okay. Yeah, we'll go with that one. Oops. Okay, and we'll just hide all these and start fresh. All right, there's that. Just another example. And let's try just using the great magic eraser tool here. So I'm just deleting. You could also clip it out with the lasso tool, the magic lasso, or any of the lasso tools. I'm just going to use the magic eraser here real quick. Delete the background of this image. Okay, we're almost done. Get out of there, come on. There we go. Okay, so we've erased that, and we'll just erase this real quick. Okay, there's a monkey, and now we'll get New York City. Great. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. And copy that. And I'm going to paste it. Okay, nothing too interesting yet. We'll make that a little bigger. Okay, and we've got these two images, one on top of the other, and of course New York City is blocking out the monkey. And if I clip them, so again, holding down Alt, go in between the two layers, I'm going to clip New York to the monkey. There we go. So now New York City is inside the shape of the monkey that I cut out. And I can still go to the New York one. I can resize it if I think it's not working quite well. I think I like that a little better. Yeah. Okay. And of course I could play around with it and find just the right the right way to put them both together. And you can also then play around with the blend modes, which we learned about in our last video. So you can see the blend modes now affect how the two layers visually interact with each other. And lots of different options there, and you can really see how these two are different in every blend mode option. So a really nice way to bring layers together, to change the way that layers blend together, and textures in the layers and colors blend together, and also where the layers appear in the layers below. So that clipping really is a nice feature to bring one image into another, whether it's a shape or a gradient or a picture, doesn't matter. It'll change how the images blend together. All right. So play around with that. Try some different clipped layers. And remember, one of the layers will need to be have parts of it that are not visible, so that are deleted, in order for the clipped layer to really have an impact. So try that. Try clipping something out, and there's clipping can mean two different things. So I'm going to try only to use it now for a clipped layer. But try cutting something out of an image and then clipping another layer to it, and and doing fun things with that. And then I will see you in the next video where we'll cover just a few more things and you'll be ready to move on and make some brilliant art. See you there.